Hey everybody, Kathy Zalewski here with Realty One Group Peak in Bozeman, Montana. If you are currently in the market to buy or sell real estate, you might have heard of FinCEN, which is coming up here. And I thought I'd just do a quick little summary of what it is. Basically, FinCEN, this Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, is designed to make it more difficult for people to launder money, criminals to launder money through the use of purchasing real estate. So as you can see from this little form that my local title company here, Title One here in Bozeman, has put out, if you are doing a residential transfer of property, the only people that this really applies to is anybody that's doing a cash purchase or private financing. So in basically 85, well, I shouldn't say that. In the Bozeman Valley here, it's about 50% cash buyers, 50% people using a lender to purchase their new homes. So if you're a seller and somebody is purchasing your home with cash, that you will have to provide your information, which you would do to the title company anyway. But also the buyer is going to have to provide a fair amount of information to the title company. So as you can see from this little flow chart, this only affects residential real estate transfers. If you are using a lender, if the purchase of your property is a seller, or if the property you're buying is a buyer, you're using a lender in any way, shape, or form, except for a private lender, then this FinCEN does not apply to you. However, if you are buying a property and the lender that you're using is private, but they do have an anti-money laundering program, again, this would then not apply to you. If you are buying the property as an individual, as in Kathy Zalewski, rather than an entity, an LLC, or a trust, this also doesn't apply to you. However, if you are paying cash for a residential property and you are buying it through a trust or an entity, FinCEN applies to you. And that means that it is reportable. So you will have to provide, first of all, the information that you as a purchaser would have to provide, your name. You also have to provide the property details. The seller's name would have to be obviously identified as well. And then whatever entity or trust is receiving the property, I imagine that, as would be usual for a title company, that trust, they might ask for trust documents so that they know who the actual members of the trust are and who the signing people are for the trust. Then obviously anyone signing as the receiver of that property or the purchaser of that property, all beneficial owners, meaning anybody that is co-owner in that entity or trust, co-trustees. And then you'd of course have to include the total purchase price and the payment method. So actually this is not horribly different. It's just that this information will be shared with regulatory agencies who are not going to share it further than that, but it is about preventing the opportunity for people to launder money through the purchase of real estate, usually via cash. So anyway, there's your little thing. FinCEN, nothing to be overly concerned about unless you're doing something not on the up and up, but did just want to get this out there because it is, if you're buying or selling property, it might be something that your agent might mention to you, just if you mention that you're purchasing with cash. This goes into effect, as you can see right here, March 1st of this year. So just a couple weeks away. So definitely, if you have any questions or comments, you can certainly leave them in the remarks area. And I will certainly do my best to get back to you. I know that this is national. This is happening across the entire United States. So every title company locally, wherever you're viewing this video from, will have to do this and have this information. Again, largely affects cash purchases, and they just want to know who's buying what and why. It is, again, primarily for those that are buying property residential property using cash, and then also buying it as an entity, an LLC or a trust. So there you go. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks again for always watching my videos, and have a great day.